have to
Whoops.
take. So anyway, look, it'd be interesting to see where he goes next. Yep.
Okay, you dropped out for a little bit there, but that's all good. Let's move on to story number 3, the infamous Gatwick drone. Finally, someone, the media, is asking questions whether it actually really existed. It's taken 2 years, but it's happened. A national media outlet asked the question that drone enthusiasts were posing shortly after the event: what evidence was there that a drone actually was present in restricted airspace? The Guardian
Mm.
newspaper in the UK is the outlet looking into the mystery of the Gatwick drone, and it starts to talk about the slow drip feed of freedom of information requests, revealing the machinations behind the scenes, and furthermore, the continuing lack of tangible proof of a drone. It's very much worth a read, and the link is in the description to the original article. We hope it's going to prompt further investigation of the events without the focus being on a non-existent drone.
Mm.
Do you think it was? Do you think it happened yourself?
Look, we've had plastic bags and we've had all sorts of, false sightings and lots and lots of stuff like that. I just don't really know. You know, what I mean, it's very very hard to tell. And without the info, what would you say either way? I mean, I think that I think the paranoia around drones, creates a lot of sightings and a lot of problems as well. We're talking about probably moving into the future electronically to solve this problem within the next 5 years, and I'll be glad. People are going to say that they don't want their drones electronically tracked, but you know what? It's going to keep our hobby. Going to keep our sport and our hobby going very, very nicely, and I think it'll pave the way for a lot more privileges for us in the future if we've got that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on. We've got something that's pretty amazing. Huntsville aerospace startup Avium last week unveiled the Raven X, which is an unmanned aerial vehicle with a little bit more power than most of the quads that we fly. This is going to serve as the first of a 3-stage launch system for small satellites weighing up to 500 kilograms. Raven X is a 55,000-pound drone measuring 80 feet long with a 60-foot wingspan and can reportedly take off from any mile-long runway. Now, the original video for this is actually a very, very long video. It's a full presentation with the team talking about the technology and the process, how they got it to market and what they're doing next with it. But this is one very powerful drone. When are you picking one up, John? We're having a lot of freezing today with John, unfortunately. How about you, Lloyd?
Yeah, I've already put in my order with Santa Claus. I expect to have it here by Christmas. Yeah.
Okay, John's definitely frozen. So we might go to you, Lloyd, for the moment. Is John moving for you?
No, he's just stiff as a board. Looks like a mannequin.
Yeah,
It's a good pose, but he looks like a mannequin.
Yeah, he always was a little bit of a stiff. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. Moving on, the next story we got here is about the Arecibo Observatory. But before I go to that, let me just see if anyone's jumped in to fly. I think we're having a lot of fun today. We've got certainly some bad weather in Sydney, and I don't know. What time is it over there for you at the moment, Lloyd?
It's 4:52 p.m. and we have got cloudy, drizzly weather here at least in this part of Oklahoma. It's been that way all day.
Did anyone ever find out if Ready Set Drone got the stream?
Yeah, speaking of, he just put up a super chat for you.
Oh, okay. Tell me about it.
It says, "Hi, at Oz by Drone. Finally got my stream going. Thanks for your patience. Had to pull off I-35 to hit the go button."
Okay, so welcome to those people viewing on Ready Set Drone. We're always ahead of the game here at Oz by Drone. We've been going for 20 minutes, and finally Kelly managed to press the go button. Apologies for that. Quick little plug again, a couple of things. This is a global fly-in. If you've got a drone and you want to fly today, we can make that happen today. Again, if you want to put the instructions in there, Lloyd, put them in both chats, and people can go and fly. We'll send your video feed on the screen today live. In the meantime, in between, we're going to continue with some news, but my regular co-host, John, has frozen up, so I'm glad you're here, Lloyd. So if you can try and do everything at the same time.
I'm trying to find the link to the fly-in.
So if you do exclamation mark RTMP, it'll be in there somewhere.
Okay.
And John just sent a question mark message. Let me just reply to him.
Exclamation RTMP. Oh, there it is. All right. I will be putting this in Kelly's chat.
So while you're doing that, let me go and read the next story over here. The Arecibo Observatory collapse was caught on video. Now, a lot of you may have seen this video already, but I'd like to play it and then talk about it from the perspective of drones. Let's just have a look. Have you seen this, Lloyd?
Yeah, a couple of times. Matter of fact, Grant, Mr. Stay Drunk, and I went through it frame by frame and watched it when it happened. And talked about. Oh, there's John back.
He's back. So,
hi.
Let's just watch the end of this here, right? So, John, this is an interesting one. Have you seen the Arecibo Observatory collapse? Have you seen that video before?
No, I haven't. I can see it now. I'm watching it now.
Can I get that to replay from the start just to share this fully with John? Because this has got a lot of relevance.
Oh.
Yeah.
So are they demolishing it deliberately?
No, not at all. So I'll just read my little script here. Performing inspections in dangerous locations have been a strong use case for drones. Recently, a drone captured the Arecibo Observatory collapse. Now, they had been monitoring these cables, these high-tension cables, where their instrument platform was sitting on top of the dome, and they had been observing problems with paint cracking on the outside of those cables. Now, from what I gather, they didn't want it to happen. I don't know if the issue was budget, that they didn't yet have money to go and replace the cables, or what their plan was, but it certainly was an unexpected, uncontrolled failure. They just happened to be doing an inspection by drone at the time when this happened.
That's a remarkable piece of video showing the way it failed. You could, slowing that down, you could see...
Speaking of failing...
the cable basically...
Oh, this is hilarious. Slow motion.
As they say, a train wreck in slow motion, John. You're failing as we speak.
But look, I've got some problems here, bandwidth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But look, long story short, inspections in dangerous locations. It's a strong use case for the use of drones, and the fact that this captured the danger. If someone had been doing a manual inspection with people out there with ropes and harnesses, or using a helicopter, and all of a sudden the tension cable went and hit the helicopter, perfect use case for drones, and a good outcome that no one was injured, obviously.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Chris Zielinski says, can just see the headlines now. Evil drone causes observatory to collapse. And they probably would. Just to blame somebody besides the slackers that didn't fix it in the first place, or the cheapskates that didn't want to pay to get it fixed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Blame it on the drone.
Hey, Greg, throw Grumpy in the hot seat for a minute. I want to go and see if I can fix my bandwidth issues. I'll be back.
Okay, we can do that. While we're waiting for John to come back and he's going and playing with his internet, a couple of things. I still don't have anyone logged on to Go and Fly Live. Just a reminder, if you've got an Android controller and you've got DJI equipment, go fly somewhere that's close to you. There are instructions on how to send your video feed to us today. If you've got FPV equipment and you know how to connect that into a computer with a virtual camera, we can also get you to come in. And the way you would do that, Grumpy, if you want to also send the RTMP, the rendezvous link, and they can come in that way as well.
Oh, yeah. All right, I can do that. Where's? Oh, here it is, right here.
Okay.
Looking at it.
So, what else have we got? Let's move on to our next story. So, you know, in the drone world, people are very often like sheep in terms of following other people. In this case, we've heard about all of the different types of cargo drones, but in China, a cargo drone is delivering mutton from Inner Mongolia to Ningxia. Just play the video. So this has been published on a Chinese news website, and they're bragging about the fact that they're taking sheep, or in this case mutton, by cargo drone. This drone carrying 1.5 tons of grassland mutton successfully completed its trial. It flew from Otog Front Barrier, Inner Mongolia to autonomous region to Yunchan.
Yeah,
Ningxia.
that's an AN-2, a Russian AN-2 aircraft. Very stable, mostly used for cargo and for agricultural work. I've had a real good look at those. And just a little side story, a pilot some 35 years ago defected from Russia in one of those, and he put his whole family in it, and 20 of them skipped the border. And I actually, when he came to Australia, I was given the job of familiarising himself with the Australian system. It was great. We didn't have much language. We couldn't talk to each other much. There was a lot of sign language. But we went for a fly together. He was a very good pilot. And he showed me, you know, we talked about the AN-2 and how he actually defected. But what was interesting was I said, well, how did you know you didn't have any maps of the West, you know, when you got over there? And he said, well, I saw a Shell service station, and I figured that I'd made it. So I landed next to the Shell service station and filled up the airplane and then continued on. And he made his way all the way down, you know, into Asia. Before the family was all split up, and they relocated here in Sydney. A great story, but the little side story to the AN-2, a remarkable aeroplane and perfect for setting up as a pilotless aircraft. Yeah, it was an automated aircraft.
I'm just reading the original story. This one they're reporting as an FH-98 as the aircraft.
Oh, is that?
Oops, and he's gone again. It's wonderful. Got to love technology. Let's. I accidentally skipped a story, and John seems to be, his internet seems to be dead. We skipped a story, and the next one is about zombies.
Oh,
so
perfect.
Exactly. Did you like that transition?
Yeah.
TikTok user
Nice
Google
segue.
Earth Things uploaded a new video that was captured from Google Earth, and if you have a look at the photo there, that's a snap from their video. The TikTok user superimposed one-word question, zombies. The video has racked up 1.1 million views and counting, but in reality, the image showed part of an art installation. So you can see all of the people down below. It's actually, as said, an art installation, and the truth is definitely not zombies. But I do have a one-word message from John. He said bugger. There's oh, I'm having bad internet. Oh, it just dropped for a second. Maybe it's not him. I saw it go yellow for a minute, but we're back. But encourage everyone to go and have a look at the description for the video, and there's a link to this story in there. And you can have a look at that one. It's a Snopes link. Yeah. Let's leave that one alone for now and move on to our next story. But before I do that, let me have a look, see if anyone's online. We've got no flyers today. This is the first time we've had the global fly in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I should call John and tell him to go and fly today.
There you go. Well, you know, I'd posted on Discord that, speaking of internet problems, I posted on Discord that I was going to be late because Judy had a virtual doctor's appointment. And somebody wrote up there, I think it's Call Me Dash, wrote up, he says, well, hopefully they're not virtually late. They were. I had to call their office and say, hey, you know, we're supposed to have a virtual appointment. When's it going to happen? And, oh, well, they'll send you a text message. By the time I got off, there's a text message. The virtual thing didn't work. It cut out. We ended up having to just do a phone call appointment. But that's why I was late getting here. Or otherwise, if she'd have been on time, I'd been here plenty of time for the start of the show.
Okay. Anyway, John, do you want to disconnect John and see if he gets back in or not? In the meantime, let's just have a quick peekaboo. What else have we got next on the list? Okay. Speaking of dead things, this too shall pass is a phrase that reflects on the human condition. And the photographs that we're about to have a look at were taken by drone, and they capture the temporary nature of our creations. Let's have a look at some of them. Now, while we just leave that one on the screen, I'm just going to click on there to get the actual info. So the first one is taken from Sultan's Sea Cliff, is the name of the location. The second one is from Williams Grove, Pennsylvania. Now, obviously an old roller coaster that someone's taken a photo of there. But just looking at that and thinking of that as a form of art and of beauty in itself, beautiful photograph. The third one we've got, Sultan's Sea Cliff again. Interesting location. Yeah. Moving on, we've got Pittsburgh. The building obviously with a broken roof there. Moving on, Owens Lake. Then Old Forge, Pennsylvania. We've skipped a few. Not in sync anymore, but you can have a look at those yourself. There's a link in the description for the video.
Right.
Have a look at those at your leisure. And what I'd like to challenge people to do is a competition. Send in photographs of your favorite old stuff that looks like it's abandoned or decaying or rotting or whatever it is. And don't send photos of Grumpy. But
I was just fixing to say, can I send him photos of myself?
Well, here's the deal. I want to provide a prize, and our favourite No Limit Drones prize. All you got to do is send in a photo of something old and not Grumpy. And the best one, we're going to give away a No Limit Drones license. And here's where that can be interesting. There's a new feature in No Limit Drones, which is, you know how you've got CE signal and then you've got FCC. And then for those already with No Limit Drones, there's Boost. There's now Super Boost, which goes even further and even higher range signal for your drone. Now, just a reminder that the intent and purpose of the higher signal levels is not to fly beyond visual line of sight unless you've got a license to do so, but to avoid interference, and you've got to be licensed appropriately to do all of those things, etc. But certainly No Limit Drones will give away a free copy of that to the best old photo between now and next week.
Old and decaying.
Old and decaying. So that's
still
got
qualify.
Okay. Moving on. Let's go to our next story. Have we got anyone? There's John coming back in. Let's see if anyone's flying today. Today is the first time ever that we've had no one flying. John's back. What happened?
Oh, look, I've had all sorts of dramas. I don't know what it is. I think I got my new mini aerial too close to the Wi-Fi, and I've burned something out. I don't know. Good grief! I mean, I've actually switched over to a dongle modem now, so I've got my in the field modem sending it. So it seems to be better. So I don't know what's going on. Who knows? Yeah, we're in Australia.
Of course, we've got internets that's so reliable. The NBN, no bloody network.
Yes.
Anyway, moving on to our next story. We've only got a couple left. Police drones are starting to think for themselves. In one Southern Californian city, flying drones with artificial intelligence are aiding investigations while presenting new civil rights questions. In Chula Vista, drones are already an integral part of the way police respond to emergencies. After an emergency call comes in, officers gives the drone a location and it flies autonomously to that point on its own before returning on its own too. Chula Vista obtained a BVLOS waiver from the FAA so the pilot and the officer can fly the drone as much as 3 miles from the launch site. Each day, the police respond to as many as 15 emergency calls with a drone, launching more than 4,100 flights since the program began 2 years ago.
Now, Greg, I want you to very carefully, I know it's great, I want you to carefully look at what you just read, pick out 2 points for me. Let's go back to the bit where the drone flies on its own, right, autonomously, and let's go, and to pick that sentence out, and let's go to the sentence there where the pilot and observer can, whatever they're doing. What's that line there, where the pilot and observer?
So I know that there's one person who's launching it who needs to stand on the roof and stay there ready. That was one message that I read in the larger story. The observer, I don't know that there's a separate observer. The pilot is actually downstairs, but they're sitting in front of the screen, obviously.
Absolutely fine. But there is a pilot there. It's not an autonomous aircraft, yeah?
Correct. So it's a pre-programmed system that will send the drone to the location without pilot intervention, other than when something happens, and if something happens, he can take over controls.
Absolutely. So to be clear, at the moment, there's still, I believe, in America and in Australia, no legislation for autonomous aircraft. I know we've done this before, but every time we get a news story and we say, oh, look, the drone does this by itself. However, the pilot was doing this. The drone went down the mine shaft on its own and did this on its own. However, the pilot was sitting in another country. There's still a pilot. So it's clearly an automated system, not an autonomous system.
Correct. I'm just reading the words out of the original story. But
I know you are, but you know what I'm like. I'm looking for that day when we're going to see an autonomous. Well, again, like we've described, the vacuum cleaner in your house. That robes around and picks up dust is autonomous. Lovely. Does its own thing. Very basic, but it does. Anyway, move on. Don't let me get bogged down in the gutter again.
Look, I think you're absolutely right. But here's where I think this is going. There are questions and concerns, especially in the US, civil rights questions, when you've got go to the Circle K down the road 2 seconds after a call comes in, it's flying there autonomously, and then the FAA has no control about what happens with the vision from that aircraft. And the question is then, are they using artificial intelligence with the vision? So my original comment, flying drones with artificial intelligence are aiding investigations. Not necessarily flying artificial intelligence, but definitely on the content coming back from the drone.
Artificial intelligence will play a major part of autonomous vehicles in all senses. Sorry, Grumpy, go ahead. You got something there?
I have a question because, keep calling it artificial intelligence, but that intelligence has to be set up by a programmer somewhere for it to finally become to where it has a certain set of algorithms. What if a stupid person like me programs it? Then it's not really intelligent, is it? It's just artificial thinking.
It'd be artificially grumpy.
Yeah,
artificial grump. You know, you make a great point. Of course, it's only as intelligent as the software is, and you make that point well. One of the things that we've got to get into first before artificial intelligence and all these other elements of autonomous vehicles get used is the primary laws of robotics. And you might remember the very familiar movie, I, Robot, where the 3 laws of robotics was, first law, a robot shall not harm a person. The second law, it shall not do harm to itself. But if law 3, see law 2, law 1, etc., etc. So there is a very basic moral code because that has to go into robotics. And of course, one of the concerns about many of the great minds in robotics is that, of course, there'll be a lot of this used for weaponization in terms of military aircraft that will go and make a decision. They'll basically take images of threats. They'll decide what the threats are based on their software, as you point out, and that then it'll go and execute what it needs to do based on what the threats are and taking it out. So that's a big step. And of course, the military's been working towards this for some time. How it goes at the moment, I believe in robotics, there is still one person that authorises that final mission, whatever it is, particularly if it's got repercussions, serious harm repercussions.
Well, yeah, and when
you
think about it, do we really want robotics to have full autonomous intelligence? And that's
let's just looking at Justin Brown. Justin Brown's put a comment there. Machine learning, the 3 rules of robotics, etc. The laws are fantasy. No piece of equipment is smart enough to follow them. And the first question you have is, how do you define harming someone? How do you act? Is there a harm sensor? And it's good in principle, but in
Hollywood
reality,
describes that easy. In the movie, Hollywood says, well, we're going to take over. The machines are going to take over the world because humans are destroying the planet and harming themselves anyway. So the best way is to eliminate them. That's the fantasy, of course, that we explore. But I don't think you're going to slow up. It makes the point about machine learning, which is quite correct. At the moment, no machines are intelligent enough to follow laws and understand or apply laws in any meaningful way. They're a guide at the moment, as they are. But one thing I do want to say, though, is that we talk about autonomous cars and trucks and all sorts of things. There is a good case to argue reasonably that small flying aerial vehicles, either delivering medicine cargo or whatever, doing other jobs, can reach a higher level of autonomy early in the game, because their tasks aren't that simple. Taking off and flying somewhere at an altitude, basic obstacle avoidance, finding a place to land, landing, doing that type of, basic automation. Whether you're going to have a drone that perhaps one day take it to where it's going to hover around a village, perhaps taking temperatures of people, and then when it decides that someone's got a temperature, it goes down and gives them a vaccination or some kind of shot, is a long way off in terms of not just the mechanics but also of what's there. But as I say, if I go back to one of the early robotics examples that we looked at. They spent so many years building a bomb detection robot that could climb stairs and do all sorts of various things. And then, of course, along came the quadcopter. It was like one of those moments where we took 60 years to put wheels on our luggage. We actually went to the moon before we decided to put wheels on our luggage. Figure that. Hey, we've got someone in the background ready to fly.
Yeah, so we've got one of our viewers, Yowie P51, who's an FPV flyer, and he's setting up to fly now. I don't know why we've got the Wheel of Fortune. My producer. Let's get rid of the game wheel.
Where did you get that from?
Number 1.
Where did you get that?
That's something I use for games every now and again. But so we've got Yowie P51 setting up to fly FPV.
Yeah, we've got your vision, mate. It looks good, and there's no drama with the vision. What's he flying? I can almost see it's a run cam on a fixed wing, it looks like.
Well, he does fly fixed wing, definitely, all the time.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, got the Tyrannus, looks like a Tyrannus 9D radio, or 9XD radio, yep. We've got a Blitzer Yeah, we
Yep,
can hear you,
we
mate.
can
Can you
hear
hear
you.
us?
Flying with line of sight at the moment,
Oh, okay.
and it's
You're just going to send us the camera feed, are you, mate?
yeah. I'll send you the camera feed,
Awesome.
and it's blowing a gale here at the moment.
Yeah.
I can tell. We can hear it. Where are you, mate?
I'm up at Hill End.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I don't know what the weather's like down there on the coast, but it's blowing pretty hard here.
Yeah, it's blowing here. You're getting easterly.
Yeah, coming from the east, so
Yeah, strong easterly here too, mate. Right across, we've got a good easterly stream. So
Just a quick comment.
Nice.
Just a quick comment. Yowie, also known as Gary, he's one of the people who was initially telling me about the problems down at Cronulla at Don Lucas Reserve. So we've been fighting the council, and still, despite the meeting and despite saying 3 months, I got some later information saying that it's going to be a few years now.
Yep.
Yeah.
No surprises there.
Yeah.
And how long did it take them to put the sign up? About 15 minutes. 3 years to take it down. Doesn't make sense. Wayne King just gave you a super chat.
Well,
Thank
yeah,
you, Wayne.
Greg. I know. Actually, I know. I've got methods of removing a sign if you want to.
Yeah, a tow bar and a chain, or
Yeah, absolutely.
can of spray,
It's a way to
spray
remove a
paint.
sign.
Get some matching spray paint for that color and just spray over the drone thing, and they
Oh, who cares about matching?
Yeah, well, that's true too. Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, if you replace the sign, if you put something else up that looks official, everyone will just think that was what the sign was meant to be.
True. So look, while he's getting set up there, let's have a look at the next story that we've got.
Tinto says use Finnish firecrackers.
So I'm going to read the next story, and by the time we finish it, hopefully we'll have him launched up there. A Russian research institute is working to patent a new drone, dragnet, designed to detect, track and capture enemy drones. The interceptor drone includes a catching net integrated into the frame's hollow space in the actual drone frame. The drone, being built by Russia's government operated Rostec Corporation, is intended to supplement other drone defences. The net size and surface tension allow capturing and retaining the target, while the net's tension is regulated by turning an automatic coil winder to change the length of the line stretched along the frame's perimeter and holding the net with the captured object. Have we got a photo of that drone that we can put up for a moment? Yeah, there's there's the photo that came with the story, but interesting that Russia wants to get a dragnet. I'm just trying to imagine the music right now.
We're up, man. We're flying.
Let's go to Gary. Full screen up at the top left there. There we go.
Come back, Gary. Back towards your transmitter, mate. Or maybe that's the aeroplane parked with nose down into the ground. I don't know.
No, he was taking off. It looked
I
like.
saw him take off, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like he had it all together.
Me flying it would be nose down.
Well, you said that, Lloyd.
Maybe that should be Lloyd's new handle, nose down.
Yeah.
Nose down.
Well, I've got a fixed wing, and I've flown it 3 times and flown it into the ground 3 times, so I just gave up. It's got one of those, buttons, and it still didn't help.
Have you ever tried the Parrot Disco?
No, I
That's
haven't.
a great airplane. Yeah, that's a nice airplane.
I got a
Even I've flown it.
Cub S.
Even I've flown the Disco, and it was very, very easy to fly.
I'm going to bring it on the Christmas party. We're having Christmas flying soon with the Morrison guys. So, yeah, can hear you, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty rough up there today.
We've
Yeah,
got nothing but static.
We've got a
We've got-
static picture.
Yeah, it looks like you're
Yeah,
down a mine
static-
shaft.
Okay, let's do this. While he's sorting out his picture, we've got one more story here, I think, today. Australia gears up for the Great Koala Count using drones, droppings and dogs. The Australian government has announced that it's going to commit $2 million Australian dollars to fund an audit of koala population and would use new methods to do so. Heat-seeking drones, acoustic surveys and detector dogs will be deployed. Individuals will don hiking boots and head out into the bush for some koala spotting. Many will also
you
look
say-
for koala droppings.
That's right. Did you say drones and droppings
Well,
and dogs?
And
using
they're spending
drones,
how much?
$2 million.
Wow,
Oh, we got a
They-
better picture there.
that's a lot of droppings. Here we go.
Yeah, it is.
Let's go full screen. Oops, and as soon as we go full screen, this is why the DJI FPV system in terms of camera makes life a lot
Oh,
better.
here we
There we
go.
go.
He's back. Well,
There
it's
we go.
really just aerial because I'm Gary. Not sure. He's not flying FPV.
No,
He's just sending us a camera image. And depending on the day, as he says, rough as guts up there today.
I keep wanting to adjust my vertical hold.
Yeah, you remember those days, Lloyd? Yeah. Remember you used to have a vertical hold on the television, and you get down the back of the TV, and
Yeah, that
it
was my
just- it
job
would
as a
roll.
kid.
Isn't that interesting? It's so long since we've seen those because
Yeah.
all of that's long gone technology. But
That's what I was
it-
supposed to do. I was sit at the back of the TV and adjust it left
And
or
adjust
right,
it,
up
So
and down.
everyone,
Yeah,
and after a
Dad,
while, if you got sick of it, if you couldn't adjust the vertical hold, you just watch it. It didn't make any
Yeah.
difference. You got used to watching
you got used to
the
it.
screen. Here we go.
okay,
We've got
we're
image.
coming in. We got an image.
We got an image.
We're
Yeah.
flying.
So this is some live fixed wing flying out at Hill End, close to the area where we were a few weeks ago. My wife and my family. We were out Mudgee region. It's around that area.
There's no showers out there. We got well, it's not looking too bad here now.
And there we go. Oh. Certainly a little bit of static there. But you know, the wonders of technology, the fact that we can have someone flying in the middle of nowhere.
Tinto said he was the remote in those days. Yeah. Yeah, my dad.
Here he goes, landing, or he's doing a flyby. No, he's going to land. Oh, bring it around again, mate. Oh, we want to do this. We want to hang on here, Greg, because there's a good chance we can see a crack.
Well, exactly. I'm not going to cut away from this.
Yeah, no, we
We need to see a crash. He came round for an approach, but maybe he's got another go because obviously, here we go. They're lining up again. Get it round into wind.
that's it. I
Rough
know
as
what the problem
guts.
is. Justin Brown says wiggle the rabbit ears.
Yeah, wiggle the rabbit ears.
Yeah.
That'll just. You used to have them on the telly too.
Yeah, I used to have to stand behind the TV and do this for my dad, and he
Yeah.
like I couldn't tell, like he couldn't go do it. And I couldn't tell him the picture was good. No, he had to be the judge of it. So that was my
Here we
job.
go. On the
There
deck.
we go.
Oh yeah, good one.
Oh,
Nice
nice
Got the
landing.
airplane back. Look, that's good, mate. Blowing hard too. You can see the cloud moving. Good on you, mate. That's great. Well done.
Let me just turn him up again.
There's his kit.
Gary, thanks
There you
very
go,
much for
mate.
sharing that flight with us. As he puts in the earbuds.
Here he comes. Here he comes.
Welcome back, Gary.
Boy,
Thanks
That
for
was
sharing
pretty-
that with us.
I hope
Nice
you, I
landing,
hope
mate.
you seen the landing, did you?
Yeah,
we saw the landing,
That was
yeah.
good.
Saw the landing.
We,
Yeah.
we saw your missed approach as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch it.
Pretty pretty rugged. I thought the wings were going to break.
Yeah, no, he did well. Did well.
Just out of interest, the signal coming back. I mean, you had your earbuds out, but we were certainly getting a lot of static.
Yeah.
What was going on there? Were you watching any monitors as well, or you're just flying line of sight?
I'm just flying in line of sight.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what's going on with this. I got this little Lee-Sheen transmitter or receiver on top, and I don't know what's going on with that. That should be receiving the same signal as the ground station I got here, because it's running the same antenna. But I don't know why it's not receiving the signal properly.
Yeah.
It seems to be all right at close range, but as soon as you get away, it breaks up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. Look, thank you very much for that. Again, just a reminder, we do this once a month, and the next one will be probably the second week of January, and we'll do it all again and invite people. It can either be FPV flying, or it can be, a GPS photography drone. We'll go and send your feed in and have a look at what it is that's around your area.
Yeah,
but thanks for that, Gary.
Fantastic,
you're
mate.
welcome. Glad that someone's seen it that time.
Absolutely. Thanks very much, and I hope you enjoy your time out at Hill End.
I will. It's been a lot of hard work. I've been up here mowing lawns. The grass is about 2 foot high at the moment.
Is this your property up there?
No, I got a van on a mate's property up here. He's got 1,000 acres up here, so plenty to play around on anyway. And
Okay.
I've got my own.
For sure. That's lovely.
I've got my own little airfield here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great. We all dream of that.
Yeah, so it's quite handy. Okay, I'll leave you with it. I'll catch you all later. Have a great week.
See you next time. Okay.
Good on you, Gaza.
So we've
Take care.
finished all of
Well
our
done.
stuff that we had planned in terms of news. I didn't have anyone come in for an RTMP feed today. I'll just have one last look. No one there, but if you've got a couple of minutes left, if you do manage to get on. John, you had a topic that you wanted to talk about before we closed out today.
Yep. Look, a little teaser. We've been having a look at AVCRM these last few days. So this is a paperless system, if you like, for people who operate a remotely piloted aircraft. You can have, obviously, a company with hundreds of aircraft, or you can just operate one. It does all your risk assessments. It does, and it's basically a very regulatory compliant platform. Is probably the best way to put it. And I've spent quite a few hours digging it in now, so we're onboarding and having a look at how it's going to work. And so I'll give you a bit of a run on that. What's going to be nice is they're going to extend it a bit further. At the moment, I've got to say, I love the air data. And there's nothing that quite touches that. I've looked at a couple of these other risk management platforms, which is a different thing in some respect. But once again, air data UAV just absolutely tops it as far as going back and looking at your logs and your telemetry and managing a maintenance of aircraft as well. So not forget them. So it's a little bit different. And one other thing I'm going to show you in the future is I've just got a new Reach RS2. For those of you that are interested in any kind of survey work with your drones and perhaps look at that, this is not an entirely cheap little item, but it's the latest version. We've been using the earlier model for a couple of years now, so RS2, and it's designed to be integrated with the Phantom 4 RTK and also the Matrice 300. So big, more expensive machines, but certainly some great technology coming up in that area, because there's a fair bit of work and push for photogrammetry survey and having more accurate positioning, if you like, and geotags on your photos. So I'll have a look at that in future too. Just drop us a line in the chat if you're interested in that kind of thing, and I can always pull out some more survey stuff if you're interested in finding out about that.
You know, it'd be fun to do a week one time and actually go out and do a live survey and see if we can get the RTMP feed from the aircraft coming back and talk about how it actually works. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be fun too. And look, you might not be interested in any kind of survey work in terms of work, but maybe you just would love to have a 3D model of your house and have it to be accurate so that you can see, I can show you how to make it so that if you can measure the exact area of the roof or the, the floor plan, the area outside of the garden, if you're looking at getting any kind of quantity survey of your own property or house, then we can show you a simple way to do that. Fly it with any regular aircraft you've got, and what to do with the photos.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've come to roughly the end of the show, and just a reminder about a couple of things. Firstly, if you wanted to send us any email, and we've got a competition that I mentioned earlier today, I want you to send in a photo of something old. And photos of Grumpy are not eligible. I know he is old, but a drone photo of either an abandoned historical building or something that's old, send it to upload@gregkunit.com. And by this time next week, we'll judge the winner of that, and we'll give a license to No Limit Drones away as the prize. If you've got any videos you want to share with us, by all means, send that in as well. Secondly, over here, follow us on social media at @OzByDrone on the various platforms. That would be good. Hit a thumbs up on the video. That would be nice as well. And if you've got anything physical you want to send in, 5/127 Princess Highway, Sylvania, New South Wales, 2224, Australia. Grumpy.
Yes.
Oh, and there goes. I don't know why that came up. That was...
Oh.
It wasn't Wirecast. Any last words of wisdom from you?
Oh, at this point, no. Just everybody go have a good week and safe week, and this next week. And the only thing I can say is I'm gonna go back in and have a nap.
As you do. Actually, can we get a 3-shot of the three of us? I just want to ask the question of our audience. With the recent events about live flying and certainly the FAA cracking down in the US, I'm wondering, is that impacting people who might otherwise be flying today? Is there anyone in the chat who would normally fly who is not doing so because of any fear or concerns? Would that stop you?
It wouldn't stop me, because,
No. He's a lawbreaker anyway.
Yeah, well, they'd have to hunt me down through you, and and
yeah,
I ain't got enough for them to take anyways, and they don't want to put somebody my age in jail, because then they'd have to feed me and take care of me, and they don't need they got enough old farts in jail already, so it wouldn't bother me.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Look, I just thought I'd ask that question because, as I said, we don't have... This is the first week, other than Gary, who came in via Rendezvous, the first time ever that we've had no one fly a photography drone for our global fly-in. So,
right, yeah.
Maybe it's just bad weather everywhere.
That's good.
Well, we've got... I don't know what it's like in other parts of the country, but here in Oklahoma, we've had nothing but rain and drizzle all day, and it's cloudy. And I mean, it was 4:30 when you started. It's already dark now. Here at 5:30 my time, so it's already dark, and it was already getting dark.
Well, that's probably the reason, Greg. More the fact that it's too dark or too late to fly in the US. And a lot of our flyers, global fly-in flyers, were flying in the US.
Over on,
I did it once. So,
Gene Fox, Green Mountain Droning, says it's coming on winter, and coming on winter here. It's dark now and it's cold, and it's our winter time, so we probably aren't going to have that many,
Well, we got to get the Aussies flying then, haven't we? It's simple.
Absolutely.
We got to get
the
model guy in the air.
The model guy, in response to the question earlier, said, I've had more people come up and talk to me while I've been flying recently since some of those events about the FAA and their crackdown. Wayne is saying bad weather in Canberra. So we've got bad weather in Canberra, Sydney. We've got to find someone up on the Gold Coast or in Queensland, somewhere up there next time maybe to fly. Anyway, let's leave it there. John, some last words of wisdom from you.
Fly safe, everybody. Have a great week, and hopefully the weather will improve and we'll get airborne again.
Absolutely. Okay, well, that's all we've got time for today. It's been fun as always. Thank you for watching. Thanks for being part of the show. Please do leave a thumbs up on the way out, and we'll see you next week. Thanks again. Bye for now.